Here we go.
You're tuning in to Will Love Listen. Now listen.
Thank you, Nikki Glaser, for joining me today. It's a pleasure to speak with you again. Obviously,
You too.
thank you. I had so much fun last year. That interview is honestly one of my favorites.
Oh, thanks. That's so I remember it, and I do so many interviews, so I was excited to get to talk to you again.
Thank you. I just felt like it's such a raw and real conversation.
Oh,
And it was easy for me to like sort of paraphrase and transcribe for the magazine. And then for the podcast, I didn't edit it at all, which is so rare because like I'm always editing. But with our interview, it was just so flawless and like we vibed so much. There was no reason to edit it. So
yes. Thank you.
I'm happy you're back again. And there's a lot to discuss. So this Good Girl tour, it's been going on for like a long time. So props
Yeah.
to that.
Well, these tours are always like, it's not like I just write a bunch of material and then I just take that out and that's the name of the tour. Like the name of a tour is kind of it's a loose thing in comedy. We're constantly on tour. Comedians just there's never like a break. I really don't really take time off. And so a tour's name really is just whatever you do to market it, but it's really my material changes like every month. I'm always adding new things, taking out other things. So you can see me, once a year and definitely see probably 80% new material. And that 20% material that you may have seen the time before is probably updated, or it's just, I left it in because it helps with a new joke or something. But I'm constantly generating new material, and the name of the tour is kind of arbitrary to it's more to get people to be like, oh, this is a special thing, there's a tour name. But it's a new thing to me because when I worked clubs my whole life, for most of my comedy career, you don't have a tour name. You just are like, I'm Nikki Glaser, I'm at a comedy club. And then all of a sudden when you go to theaters, everyone's like, what are you calling this? And I'm like, wait, I have to name it. So but it's that my theater tour has just been an ongoing thing since I started doing theaters. And it's a different kind of show than a comedy club. But it's, I think every artist should want to be doing their favorite stuff. No artist is like, the work I'm doing right now isn't my best. Like everyone thinks that they're doing their best stuff, like whenever they're talking about it. But, I think as a comedian that hasn't reached an age where I'm starting to get demented, I think that's when I'll start like plateauing as a performer. Is when the dementia sets in, which who knows when it could be. I use spray tan booths a lot. I inhale a lot of toxic chemicals. But I think that right now it's like, it's just nice to be doing something that I feel I'm elite at. I've never been like really just amazing at anything in my life. And at this point it's like, oh, I have those 10,000 hours. I'm an expert now. And so I have this like freedom on stage that I can really do anything. I can do new material, I can do old material, I can play with the crowd. It feels good to be a pro, I guess I should say.
Yeah, no, I love it. And you so are. And I think it's so impressive that like this tour in particular has been like killing it. Like it's just more dates, more dates, more dates. Because I think technically the Good Girl tour, if we're going by the label itself, started in the last quarter of 2022, and now it's going into 2024. So props to that.
Yeah, well, thank you. It's honestly, I just need to rename it. It's just that it's me not wanting to do another photo shoot because it's so funny because my face is just starting to like fall off my skull right now. And so it's reaching that age where it's like I've been traveling too much, I work too much, I don't sleep enough, I don't drink enough water. And I'm like, oh God, I got to get a facelift before my next photo shoot. So it's like really a tour name. I change it whenever I do a new photo shoot. It's like, okay, here's a new photo, group of photos that have like a theme to them. Let's call it something new. And the material also like, shifts along with whatever you name it, or that you name it something based on the material. But I'm really just avoiding another photo shoot because I hate looking at pictures of myself. I hate pretending I'm a model. I hate I hate having to look at myself, even though I'm a fairly attractive woman. I have good self-esteem, but there there is aging happening, and like everyone feels about themselves. Like it's really hard to look at yourself as much as I'm forced to. It's one of the worst parts about show business. I'm not someone who likes to obsess about my looks, but this business certainly forces you to do that. So that's really honestly a huge part of my act right now, is talking about how it feels to like really start the aging process. We start complaining about aging in our 20s, but it doesn't really start till your late 30s. And I'm starting to see, the effects of sleeping on the right side of my face. Like there's no doubt about it. Like I have to draw a winged eyeliner at a different angle than the other side of my face to balance out my eyes, because it looks like I had a stroke on one side of my face. Like it's just happening. And so it's like it's a lot of me talking about that. But yeah, it's one part of the business I definitely struggle with, is the vanity part, and feeling like my success is tied to maintaining a certain aesthetic, which in comedy it's not as much as maybe it is in music or acting, but it's still a part of my brand. Is like, I started out in comedy as like a cute young girl. That was like a part of why I was interesting, why I stood out. Yes, I was funny, but you're a package deal. Like we're not just our talent. And I think people can sometimes dismiss my concerns about wanting to stay young and how that is tied to my relevance, because they say, oh, your looks don't matter, you're a comedian, you're like Joan Rivers. And I'm like, well, Joan Rivers died on an operating table trying to stay young, so maybe I probably will be the next Joan Rivers.
That is funny. But honestly, like, do you really think that I mean, I'm sure it's magnified with the industry you're in, but unfortunately, I think with this digital age that we're in, and ever since the Kardashians and social media becoming such a big factor, I think everyone deals with it. Because like I could tell you,
Absolutely.
like me firsthand, like I went through like a bad, like a breakup with, I don't even want to call it a relationship, a situationship, like a year and a half ago. And afterwards,
Mm,
I felt so insecure about myself that
yeah.
I got a nose job, and actually I got buccal fat removal in April 2022. And then a month later, I got a nose job. So,
Wow. Do you like the results?
um, the buccal fat results I fucking love.
Ooh, okay, good.
Yeah, I do love it. The nose, I felt like he was too subtle, and I'm gonna get a revision, honestly.
Oh,
But
that's better than going overboard. But yeah, that's annoying when it's like when you get your hair cut and no one notices, and you're like, what was the fucking point of that?
see, that's the
Yeah,
whole thing. And my whole thing is, I've wanted a nose job since I was a kid, and it's like, dude,
yeah,
I like worked for this, and like I wanted to show more, if that makes sense.
yeah. You want it to be noticeable. I know that is a fine line in doing plastic surgery. It's like we all want it to be kind of flawless and maybe not noticeable that we did it, but we also want it to change our face, but not in a way that people go, "Oh, that's sad. She hated her face. Why did she change it?" There's I really like that you talk about what you had done, because I think just so many people lie about it or are so ashamed about it. And I'm really curious, what was the recovery like for both of those operations?
So the buccal fat surgery, I got it done by a doctor. His name's Dr. John Meza. He kind of specializes in it.
Yeah.
And the first few days were horrible. I mean, I couldn't, anytime I tried to drink, like a brain freeze, it felt like I had a brain freeze from my mouth down past my neck. Um,
Oh,
it was scary. I'm not gonna lie, it was fucking scary the first like 3 or 4 days. After the
yeah.
fourth day, um, I was good. Um,
Okay.
but I mean, you're still, the one thing I will say,
Swollen.
I have like kind of thick skin, so typically they say the swelling will go down in 3 to 4 months. I felt like it took a lot. I mean, it was gradual, but I felt like it took a lot longer than that to see the final result. Having said that,
Wow.
I'm very happy with the buccal fat surgery.
Yeah, I mean that's what I always am so curious about, because people get this stuff done and I go, when do you fucking do it? Like I really don't have to, I really want to get a brow lift, like a slight, ponytail, Ariana Grande, subtle, maybe like a slight blepharoplasty, like eye lift type thing
Yeah.
that, just brightens my face, makes me look like myself, but just myself a couple of years ago, myself that sleeps on her back for the past 10 years. And and I'm just like, when am I going to schedule this? And like, how bad's the surgery? Like, I feel like it's like when people talk about having kids, like they tell you like it's bad, but it's not as bad as they said it was gonna. It's so much worse than they said it was gonna be. Like I think it's I don't want to put myself through pain for vanity, but at the same time, I suffer a lot by zooming in on pictures and not posting things because I can't even promote this show because the pictures I have to promote it, I look like Dax Shepard. Like
Oh,
I can't, it really is it's really a scourge. And I think it's obviously social media has made us so much more focused on these things. And um I really do long for days where if you take a picture of yourself in it, you get it back. It's been like weeks since it was like had to go get developed and you have to go pick it up at Walgreens.
I
So you
know.
look at the picture and if you don't like it, you can go, I don't look like that anymore. I grew out of that. I lost weight since then. My face has changed. But now it's like, this is you right now. And it ruins your whole day because I have to look like this. And so it's, and then there are days where I totally like the way I look and I totally accept it. And it's it's so based on my hormones or how much sleep I've been getting, or like you said, like have I just recently gone through a breakup? Am I stressed about a job or something? Like fixing our looks is like it feels like the issue when I think we all are smart enough to know it's not, and that we should love ourselves the way we are and da 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 da. But you can't help but think that it might be shallow and people might roll their eyes about people getting work done, but we're not stupid to get work done. People who look hot
True.
have better lives.
Exactly.
There's pretty
Exactly.
privilege. So it's like I'm not lame for wanting to get a brow lift. I just want more money, acceptance, and love in this world, and pretty people get it.
Yeah,
I
it's
know
so
when
true.
I look hot, I get treated better by everyone. When I put on makeup, when I have my eyelashes on, when I have my fake hair in, when I have my tits out, it's like people open doors for me. I'm like a Dubai prince or something. I'm like you live life in first class if you are super fuckable. And so I don't think it's shallow to hang on to those things and to want those things. In fact, I think it's you're probably a you're probably seeing the world for what it is, which is a shallow place where there is privilege for being thin, for being beautiful, for being fuckable. And you're smart to want to hold on to those things. And I think people just shame women and men for being aesthetically obsessed, but it's only because we want love and acceptance. And is that such a bad thing to want?
Exactly. And I'm so glad you're saying this and like we could talk freely with this because I feel like so many celebrities right now, like, I mean, being in the industry, everyone's fucking doing shit, but yet they'll fucking like get on their high horse and say, love yourself and this and that. And then meanwhile,
Oh,
and then you
ugh.
see the Kardashian shit. And it's like, listen, it sucks. We're in this fucking digital age. I hate it because I'm a very deep person, but yet at the same time, I'm a hypocrite because I'm buying into it and doing all this shit. But
No, because you're smart. Because we don't like the way the world works where people are rewarded for looking hot and fuckable, but we do. And so we're observant of things around us, and it's a way to get by in life. It actually is a very savvy thing to focus on in order to get ahead in life. And getting ahead, I'm not talking about just money and greed. It's like money equals protection and equals safety. It equals
ability.
love. It equals
Yeah.
we're really just people that want safety and love and protection. And so, but it seems so shallow. And thank you so much for pointing out fucking celebrities that this bullshit body acceptance. If you truly love your body and accept yourself, good on you. Like, great for you. But I think it's so fucked up that, I've been shamed before because I have been outspoken about how I feel ugly sometimes, how I hate my body, and people go, well, you're thin, or you're not a ugly person. And I agree. Like, I'm not ugly, but I'm allowed to feel fat and feel ugly, even if I'm not, because you know what? Like, that's how I feel. Don't make
Exactly.
me, just because there might be little girls listening to me, I don't need to pretend I like my body when I don't. That shit is, I can't stand that. We know that there are celebrities that are like, love your curves, and yet they do Ozempic, they get lipo, and or they go on fasts, they do cleanses, and it's like, well, not preaching what you're not practicing what you preach. And when I mean, I've been shamed. I've had like an ex-friend of mine kind of reach out one time when I said something about, feeling like I'm not good enough, I don't like my looks, I want to get work done. I was just being honest,
Yeah.
for the far be it for me to be honest. And she goes, it's a really bad example to set for girls. You know what's a worse example? Lying about liking yourself when you don't. Because you know what? Girls at home see girls going, I love myself. And they go, why don't I love myself? I'm failing. Like I'm already failing that I don't like my face, but now I'm failing because I can't accept myself. So it's like this shaming people for or if everyone has to love themselves, fuck that, man. Like
Yeah.
it's hard to love yourself, and it's really easy to go on Instagram and post a picture of you holding your cellulite and be like, aren't I a fucking martyr? I show my cellulite. I showed my dumpy ass and I'm proud of it. It's like yeah, because you did too much Vyvanse that day or something, and you got bold. But like, not everyone loves their cellulite or has to love it. In fact, having cellulite, I found in Hollywood, being fat doesn't really help you. Like, I don't think there's like lots of fat acceptance in the way that maybe it seems on TikTok and Instagram. I don't think show business or even the corporate world or the society in general is on board with fat acceptance. I would love them to be, but I think it's smoke and mirrors, this like body acceptance thing. I would love for it to take on and take hold, but the fight is not over. People aren't just like, we love fat people now. Like, people still hate fat people and discriminate.
Exactly. And I like the fact that people go to a comedy show because they want to relate. So I like the fact that you're talking about this shit instead of being like these other celebrities with these lectures. Because a perfect example is,
Ugh.
with Lizzo and all that, there were a few years of the whole body acceptance thing, but the minute Ozempic and Mounjaro and all that became mainstream, all those people that spewed it hopped right on it and are like a rail.
Mhm.
So it's like,
Yeah.
really, you were spewing bullshit this whole time.
Yeah, and I don't care if people do Ozempic. I don't care if people get face work or whatever.
Yeah, same.
Like
It's just like,
like
don't
it
get me.
makes sense that you would want to be thin if you're Lizzo. Like Lizzo obviously made it because as a fat woman, and did that, it did so despite being a fat woman, and maybe because of it, because it was like such an interesting different look. But
Yeah.
um who of course fat people want to be thin. There is thin privilege and there's no question about it. So it's yes, and please, like, love who you are, but just let's not create a narrative where we shame anyone who doesn't accept who they are or who isn't. And by the way, we shame people for taking Ozempic and getting lipo and like, oh my god, like you're cheating. But we uphold people who do cleanses or who hit the gym and destroy their bodies in a gym, or people that
Yeah.
just diet and exercise. We're like, that's the real way to lose weight. Meanwhile, most of it's eating disorders. Talk about intermittent fasting. That's adult anorexia. It's anorexia with a different fucking name, and it's anorexia endorsed by Joe Rogan. So for people to
True. Yeah.
shame people who do Ozempic and say that's an unhealthy way to do it, don't do semi-glutides. It's like, well, okay, fine, I'll just do your weird green juice cleanse that's gonna give me a fucking binge eating disorder as soon as I go off it. Like, we really shame people if they're fat. We shame them if they try to lose weight. We shame them if they want to lose weight. No, just like yourself the way you are. Oh, you lost weight? Ew, you like. Oh, this is like you. Oh, now I'm gonna comment like you. If you go to Mindy Kaling's Instagram, or months ago, I think they've stopped now. But anytime she posted a picture, people are just like Ozempic, Ozempic, Ozempic. It's like, let this woman be thin for once in her fucking life. Like,
Exactly.
she why is she not allowed to be thin? You get to be thin, bitch. That's commenting. Are you threatened now because Mindy Kaling has a thigh gap? Because all you have is a thigh gap, and you're not smart and interesting and talented like she is. So now you're threatened because you're like, Mindy, stay fat, because that's the only way I feel superior to you. Like, there's this shaming of fat people wanting to get thin. So it's really, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's a very confusing world to live in, and I feel very stressed by the sheer amount of things you can do to look hotter. I mean, there's no end to it. You really can look like anything you want to with the amount with the kind of surgery and lasers and peptides, and you really can, if you have enough money, you can look. There's no excuse for not looking just fucking stunning. And as I get more successful, I'm like, I have the money to do all this, but I don't want to because I don't want to have straws in my face and need to like be recovering in a bed for 8 days, 8 months or whatever it is, or the swelling to go down. But then there's also this part of me that's like, but you can afford to look like a Kardashian. You're failing if you don't do it. Like it's at your fingertips. There are doctors that would see you right now and make you look like Blake Lively. They'll take down your nose the exact way they did hers, and you could be, 40% hotter with just a couple months of recovery. And there's always that kind of floating over my head now. I kind of liked it better when I was broke and was like, well, I can't afford a nose job. And it's like, now it's like, oh, you could, bitch.
It's true because I could. I mean, it's especially in your shoes. I could imagine because now there's no limitations. So
No
if you,
limits.
so you could really do anything you want, but then you
And
also
there's
kind of
always a new thing coming out that's like, you're failing if you don't do this kind of laser. Oh, you're still doing that laser? Now it's the Morpheus 18. And you're like, oh God, when does it end? There's always some new fucking secret thing. And then there's all these people, Elizabeth Banks, I think, came out recently and was like, I'm not doing anything to my face. And I'm like, good luck.
yeah,
Like, I
exactly.
don't
Yeah,
like, it's
what you
easy for
say
you
now.
to say now, everything's holding up pretty well, but like, you can't say that for the rest of your life that you're never going to do anything. I, good on her, but also she has amazing genetics. Like, it's easy for really naturally hot people who are aging really gracefully to say that. It's easy for people to get on their high horse and say they're not. And I love Elizabeth Banks, and I think she was well intentioned in what she's saying, and it's nice to have an example of someone that's like, I'm not going to do anything to my face. But I do think there's a part of me that goes, yeah, easy for you to say.
Exactly.
Easy for
Oh,
Cindy Crawford to say she's not doing anything to her face. She's Cindy Crawford. It's there's just no right way to do it. If you get work done, you're pilloried as like, that's sad, love yourself. And if you don't get it done, it's like, that's sad, she looks like she's let herself go. So what the fuck do you do?
it's so true, and it's always easy for like the person who doesn't need it to say something. Like
Yes.
this one fucking guy, like I know, was like, "Oh, I don't know why you get those injectables. I would never do it." And it's like, dude, you don't. When you smile, you don't have crow's feet. I never smiled because I've
Yeah.
had fucking crow's feet since I was like 20. So now that I can, I'm gonna do the fucking Botox, the fucking
Yes.
the fucking Daxify. Like, yeah, it makes me
Yes.
feel better. It makes me feel comfortable to smile, and yeah, hell yeah.
Who gives a fuck? Like, I realize so much of like the things we envy in others are not the result of hard work. I think hot people think they like have done something different than everyone else. Like, just do what I do and you don't need injectables. It's like, well, your parents are hot and your mom was a model and your dad was like a rich fucking magnate of some like,
Yeah,
you have hot parents.
exactly.
That's why you're hot. Like, I have really good legs. Like, my legs are just like, they're I've heard they're enviable. Like, it's a thing. I was always ashamed of them as like in my 20s and then in my 30s because they're muscular. But then like Carrie Underwood kind of got big, and like not having these like stick thin legs was kind of like having a more muscular leg became trendy. So my legs suddenly became like, wow, I have really great legs. And people always ask me, what do you do for your legs? What's your workout? I need to do that. And I always tell them, my dad came in my mom in 1983 and I got his legs. My dad has amazing women's legs and I got them. I didn't do anything for them. So
But
that really
you
helps
have
me sometimes when people are envious of something that I have or look like. I'm always like, okay, it's because I have fake eyelashes on. It's because there's fake hair extensions. It's because I got a spray tan, and it's because of my genetics. Like, it really, to people who like really pride themselves on like, I worked for this. Like, we're all doing tricks, and or we're all just, it's luck or tricks. It's like, you're not, but there's like some kind of feeling of a moral failing if you don't find the exact right way to have every body part look exactly the way you want it to. But it truly, um it's impossible. I mean, it is possible because there's surgery now that does everything, but it's impossible to have a life and get all those surgeries. I really can't. I don't know how I don't know how celebrities do it. I mean, I've learned that they all start doing it around this time of year because Hollywood shuts down around Christmas
yes.
holidays. And so this is when everyone is starting to, get prepped for their surgeries. And then in January, they'll appear a little swollen, but tighter, like I know that's when it happens. So, But I'm just like looking at my schedule, like, when the fuck am I going to get this brow lift? Like, it is kind of like, I really need to get it soon because it's just like getting a haircut. You know, people are like, don't do it. I'm like, but I always, I don't like my split ends anymore. And you don't shame me for cutting my hair. You're not like, just let it look nasty. It's like, I want to fix this thing. I need to do it. Like, let me do it without having it to be some fucking secret. Like, my friend, she got face work done in her like late 20s, and it was in the early aughts, I think. And she's now told me about it, but she has this deep shame about it. In fact, she got a nose job and a chin implant, and she had to recover alone because she didn't want anyone to know
Oh,
she did it. She was totally alone. And I think that's so fucking sad to go
but
through really
that's
hard
because of the
surgery and
shame.
recover by yourself.
And there's still that people still do that because there's still,
Yeah,
even though all these options are readily available now and it's all mainstream now, and like the average Joe knows about it, there it's still so stigmatized that
totally.
feel the need, like they don't want to, like, shame to talk about it. That's why I'm glad you're talking about it, and that's why I talk
Yeah.
freely, because I'm like, no one's gonna fucking shame me when I worked my whole life to finally fucking be able to afford these few things.
Hell yes. Like, as soon as you said that, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a conversation I love because we're talking earnestly and honestly about it. And I think that, my whole motto on stage is really like, if it's mentionable, it's manageable. Like, I don't think any subjects are off topic, like no topics are off the table in terms of like being able to discuss, because if we don't talk about these things, they'll always be stigmatized. I mean, it used to be stigmatized to get your hair dyed. Like in the 50s, women would be like, no, I'm a natural blonde. And like they would like go in, cloak themselves to go into the hair salon. So like there's progress that's been made in terms of women and men changing their, like, being aesthetically conscious, but there's still this real stigma around it. Example I give on stage is like, Jennifer Grey in the 80s got a pretty significant nose job that was very noticeable, which is like a very big no-no in Hollywood. Like, I think they tend to just whittle it down over the years so you can't really see,
Yes.
like, it's not so harsh. Blake Lively, if you look, like, her nose has gone away slowly. It wasn't like an abrupt thing, and it's barely noticeable. But if you look at her on, traveling pants, Blake Lively, and then her now, it's pretty noticeable. But she did it very subtly, so everyone's just like, was it erosion? Maybe it wasn't surgery. Like, maybe she's like the Egyptian Sphinx. It just fell off with sand and weather. But but I think that um my point being is, I forgot where I was going with this. Oh, yeah, I say on stage that if it's mentionable, it's manageable. If we are able to talk about this stuff, and if we get to a point where people can just say, I had vocal fat removal, I had a nose job, as if they are saying, I got my hair done, I got my eyebrows done. Like, everything would be so much more transparent, and people wouldn't feel as bad about themselves if they knew what was going on with other people. That's where we get into trouble, is when celebrities say, oh, I've never had anything done. In fact, this is the skincare line I use. It's all I use. And you go, really, J-Lo? That's all you use? Because I think you're lying. I think you're selling us something that you would actually never use. Because for J-Lo, I mean, I talk about this on stage, but for J-Lo to remain popular and relevant, she needs to stay way hotter than us. It does
Yeah.
not behoove J-Lo for us to get hotter. J-Lo does not, it's girl math, really. Like, for J-Lo to be hot, she needs us to be ugly. So like, I don't mind when celebrities lie about having work done, because I understand that it's a shameful thing. And like, oh, Jennifer Grey got a noticeable nose job in the 80s, and everyone talked about it. They're all like, why did she get that done? That's so sad. Oh my God, she ruined her face. Why did she fix the thing we all made fun of her for years before she did it? Like, then she finally fixes it, and then she is literally in no movies again, ever. And it's like, was her talent in her septum? Like, no, she was just shamed out of Hollywood because it was obvious that she did that thing. And we were all like, oh, that's so sad. And we shamed her for it. And I think that's why celebrities are so fucking scared to ever admit they've had stuff done, is because culturally we will go, That's sad. And so they all fucking lie about it. Then
Yeah.
what happens? You or I see pictures of them on Instagram. We go, why can't I look like that? I bought her skincare line that she told me she uses. I guess God just hates me. I guess I'm just fucking, I guess I'm a bad person. I guess I'm just inherently an ugly person. When really, if we knew the truth, we could compare ourselves with the information that is true. Oh, maybe I shouldn't compare myself to Kendall Jenner, who has probably had a brow lift in her teens. You know, maybe I shouldn't compare myself to the Kardashians who are getting constant lipo and they're really just saying they're using a waist trainer and going to the gym 5 times a week. It's like that's some of the information, but it's not all of it. And I think that we need to empower people to be more outspoken about these things. It's like it's the shame is keeping us feeling insecure because we're comparing ourselves to things that we don't even know the whole story. And it's making it harder to get things done. It's making it so we're recovering on our own. It's just a very sad process. We're all like, our nation is so fucking depressed, and it's all because of social media.
It is. And social media is ruining everything. It's ruining people's
Everything.
self-esteem. It's ruining romance because now everything is so attainable. So people don't even want to be in a relationship. They think that, open relationships are realistic, or they'll date you for a month and be with someone else and be with someone else, and then they question why they're fucking miserable. So it's like, and then they can't even see the work they get done. So, and if they're not getting work done, then they think because they're at the gym, like you said, they're doing things healthy when they're starving themselves, doing these weird fucking ass diets. So everyone is all fucked up. It's a sad state.
It really is a sad state. And it feels like I like when I hear social media might be like reaching an apex of like, it might go away. There's like a part of me that freaks out. Like I've just been reading some articles about like people are kind of leaving because they just, or at least millennials are falling off of social media because it isn't what it used to be. And I'm like, as much as that pains me, I'm like, wait, what would my life be without it? Like, I really, when I step away from it, there's no question that my mental health improves. Like when I, I don't, the best thing I ever did for myself that I see so many other celebrities and people in media who are, just facing forward and scrutinized by the general public, they read their comments. And I said to myself in like, I think it was like 2012, I just read a comment. I don't read my comments. I don't read it. I used to read, it's fallen off. I quit YouTube comments almost right away because they were so mean. And I was like, the good doesn't even come close to making me feel as good, like equal, like it doesn't counteract even one negative thing. So this is like, I'm poisoning myself reading this. So I cut off YouTube comments. Then it was Facebook comments, and that I don't even go on Facebook anymore. Then it became Twitter replies because those were kind of like nice for a while. But once you reach like, a couple 100,000 people, then you start getting people hating you. And then Instagram was like, oh, I can read those comments because it's like mainly my friends and fans. It doesn't get too nasty on there. But once I got past 1 million followers on Instagram, it started getting mean. And I was like, I'm out, man. Like and now it's very freeing for me. When I post something, I don't look at the likes. I don't look at the comments. Like I've really been good about being like, it's none of my fucking business if people hate me. Like I hate comments so much. I think they literally should be banned from everything because I think I know they affect how I view things. I'll be watching a YouTube video and I'll be like, this is pretty good. And then a YouTube comment will be like, oh my God, at minute 3, she says the weirdest, like she starts bombing. Like I'll be watching a stand-up clip. And then all of a sudden I'm like, ooh, I can't wait to see her bomb. And then I'm looking at it through a lens of like, she sucks. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I think she sucks. And I think it's because this comment influenced me. This rando comment that's tagged underneath it. So I don't read my own comments. I love reading comments as a purveyor of media. I love them because they're just so nasty and sometimes hilarious. But my own comments, that's one thing I've done for my mental health that has been really crucial. And I'm not always protected from them. Sometimes people send them to me. Sometimes people just straight up DM me. Like you can't avoid everything that everyone says, but man, it's helped. I know I've dodged so many nasty things being said about my looks and my talent. And, I always just say to myself, like, I don't need to read it. Like, no one's going to bully me on there more than I bully myself. Like, I'm only like, I'm already doing a pretty good job of it on my own. I don't need any help, So it's, even though I know it's out there, I just don't look at it. And really, much like when you mute someone on Instagram. I don't know if you've ever muted someone because you're
Yes.
just like triggered by them. You
Yeah.
think you're gonna be like obsessed still and like, oh, I'm just probably gonna go back to their account and unmute, but you kind of forget they exist. It like kind of works.
It
So
does. It's one of my favorite options.
it really is. And I've quit smoking in my life. I've quit drinking, and those were really hard things for me to give up. And I thought I could never picture my life without them. But I not reading comments was also a thing that I quit kind of cold turkey. Like, you can't do this anymore. This is really harmful to your health. And I don't think it's been years, and I don't even I post a thing and I don't even think about, oh, I gotta see how it's doing. I don't even look at it. Like, it's pretty freeing.
I love it. And I think that comments are like destroying reality TV, because if you watch reality TV, you'll have like a really like outspoken character. And then after a few seasons, they change their whole demeanor based upon
Yeah.
what the fans think. And I'm like, just so so basically you're changing your whole demeanor based upon the comments.
Based
That
on like maybe one comment they read, or like, and that's always why the best season of reality TV is like the first season, because
it
they
is.
completely get
Oh,
corrupted
totally.
by
Yeah.
public opinion. It's
It,
so true. Ugh.
that's why I always say if I ever get on a reality show, I'm just turning off the fucking comments, because
Good.
I'm already mind fucked by everything. I'm like, I am not being mind fucked by that.
I know, that's so smart. It's like, it really, my friends that read comments and they're really devastated by them. I mean, it's crippling, and you know what it does? It really, like you said, it harshes their light. When you read a comment that is disparaging about you, your self-esteem goes down. You can't create that day. You're not as happy. Like, for me, it really, they do a good job of bullying me to a state of like wanting to just disappear. And so I do, and they win. And I can't have that. Like, and let's not even talk about the concern on social media I have of looking quote unquote cringe. Like, that's a new way to shame people, is like, what you're doing is cringe. Because what cringe really is like, yes, certainly there are things that are like, wow, this is a bad look, this is desperate. But when we call something cringe, it's like, most of the time when I do it, it's me pointing out something that I'm like, I'm jealous that this person has the confidence to put out this crappy thing. Like, I'm more upset about the confidence and how I lack it. So if I call it cringe, I validate to myself, like, yeah, you don't want to look cringe, Nikki. And then it convinces myself that, like, don't take chances, because then people will call you cringe. And that really is another thing I think that like really holds back so many artists. So I really try not to get feedback as much as possible, even though, or you look for it in the right places. I'm taping a comedy special in December, and so I'm starting to have,
Swear.
I've always gone off of like the audience's reaction. I mean, like, you do what gets laughs, and you don't do what doesn't get laughs. But handing my special or for scrutiny to someone is very uncomfortable. But I'm handing it off to friends who I really trust, who I know, they know that I really hate criticism, and that I get, even if I ask for it, I'm like, well, that's not what I meant. Like, they're like, but you wait, hold on. I'm not saying you're a bad person. I'm just saying this doesn't make sense. And I'm like, well, it's because you don't understand. Like, they're like, whoa. And I'm like, wow, I have a real problem with criticism. It makes sense why I can't read comments. But you got to look for it in the right places. But I think by and large, like, I would opt out of having feedback from strangers who can't say it to your face. Get feedback from people who can say it to your face, because anonymously, it's cruel, and it's all meant to fucking harsh your buzz, because people are they're so jealous that you have the balls to put yourself out there, because everyone's so ashamed of themselves that by belittling you and making fun of you, they want you to go away, because they're so jealous that you have confidence and they don't. And it's like, they want you to have no confidence, like they have no confidence. I really know that's what trolls do. They really are like these people who are terrified and who hate themselves, and they want you to hate yourself as much as they hate themselves.
Yeah, and you even in your personal life, don't you feel like you need to like be cognizant of who you ask for advice? Because like you ever
Oh,
like that friend, and no matter what, they'll always say the negative thing, and then it takes you like a while to realize, damn, you've always
they're
been like a
jealous.
closet hater. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly hard to find friends who, and and I say this as a friend who gets jealous of my friends. There are certain friends of mine that I'm like, I wouldn't come to me for anything about this because I won't be straight up hating because I'm a little bit more insidious than that, but I'll catch myself being jealous and kind of trying to harsh my friends' lights because I'm so jealous of them. Like I'll catch myself being because I'm a jealous and envious person. So it really is a delicate balance. I found that I need to ask advice from people, my friends who really like themselves and are okay with themselves. And that's where you won't get that like you know, like I don't think you should do that. Yeah, that's like nah, I don't like that dress or I don't like that. That's like a bad that optically that's like bad. When that kind of shit like they're just jealous that they don't have the balls to wear a shirt like that. Like
Yeah,
that really is what it
exactly.
is.
Yeah, it's so true.
It's it sucks because like I said, I'm guilty of these things too. Like I have a really jealous, mean streak. There's times I've wanted to like comment something vicious
But the
because
thing
I'm
is,
jealous
you
of
let it
it or because I
show.
hate
That's
it.
the
And
key.
I don't do it though.
Yeah. That's the key. You don't let it show. Like I could get envious a little bit myself, but I check myself. So I won't say the comment that someone else
Yes.
did to me.
I go the other way. Like I have this thing now that when I get jealous of young, beautiful, like up and coming comedians who I like, I'm like, oh, this girl's gonna take my spot. Whenever I see an Olivia Rodrigo and I'm feeling a little Taylor Swift about it, I will purposefully, my instinct is, God, I want this girl to go away. Like she's a threat to my career. Like people are gonna like her more. She's younger, she's prettier, she's fresher. And I want her to go away, but I force myself now. Like whenever I have that instinct, I post her to my story, and I'm like, this girl's really funny because I'm like, I got to do the opposite. Like it's that kind of behavior doesn't yield good results. Like squashing someone else's light is only going to make my soul like a dark, depressing thing. And like I just need to put out positivity to get it. And it's woo woo and it sounds crazy. It's I would have rolled my eyes at it 10 years ago, but I do believe like when the envy that I have in my heart, these feelings of jealousy are really like they're killing me slowly. I think that's what's causing my face to fall. Like I do think that like I see pictures of myself and I'm like, oh, that was a really bad envious day I was having, or that was a day I was having really low self esteem, and I look uglier. Like I think all of these things like they have negative impacts physically and mentally. Like I really try to combat those feelings, but I don't blame myself for feeling envious. They're really, we're pitted against each other in this world, in this capitalist society. And it's not like it's not wrong for me to want to get a facelift. It's not wrong for me to want that girl to maybe die young because then she won't steal my husband someday. Like there are truths to my competitiveness, even though it's in their ugly thoughts I have. I just have to what I have to do is I have to admit that I have them because I can't fix something unless I'm honest about it. And sometimes those truths are pretty like they're pretty embarrassing to admit, and that's what a lot of my act is now, is just admitting my embarrassing thoughts because thoughts, if I do something about it, then it's bad, but if I think it's not bad. Like you can't help what you think. So I really, that's kind of what I love about stand up, is I get to just share these terrible thoughts and then people groan and I go, well, I didn't do it, I just wanted to do it. Like there's a difference, and it's a really fun distinction for me to play with on stage.
What are some topics that are going to be covered on all these new dates?
Well, it's honestly, we just covered so much of it. I mean, I have really fun, biting, amazing jokes that I didn't say in this discussion, but
In
it really
relation,
is about,
yeah.
it's about aging. It's about relationships. It's about commitment. It's about a fear of committing to someone for the rest of my life. We live too long. What the fuck? Like I feel I'm 39 and I'm like, that's too old. I really think 40 is too young to get married. I'm like, I have at least 45 more years on this planet. Like, I cannot imagine that with like one person. Like, I really, and I say this while my boyfriend's in the fucking room. Like, I'm, I think I'm questioning monogamy. I'm questioning, parenthood, which is something that I'm staring down the barrel of like, I better freeze my eggs like by Wednesday or it's going to be too late. So there's all these like pressures that I'm dealing with in my late 30s, and also with the impending like end of the world, which is seeming to be around the corner. Like it's
Yeah.
really much like it's
Seriously.
having to laugh at the horror of everything and the honesty and the real raw bitter truth of the state of the world and the state of my mind. And I talk a lot about depression. I talk about having suicidal thoughts. I talk about suicide. I talk about death. I mean, it seems like a lot of grim subject matter. I talk about molestation. I talk about domestic violence. Like these are things that I really have people like rolling laughter going on about these subjects, which is such an achievement for me, because I think that there are things that people go, oh, that can never be funny. But like I said, if you can laugh about it, at least it's getting brought up, you know, like, okay, I make jokes about children in foreign countries making our clothing, but what else are we doing about it? Not mentioning it is not helping it. At least I'm
Bringing it
addressing
to
that it's an
light.
issue. You know,
Yeah.
like if you can't laugh at you know, if you can't cry, you got to laugh. And so it really is. That's kind of, I'm talking about things that if you didn't laugh about them, you cry about them. And I think that laughing about stuff is actually a way towards crying and maybe working through some stuff. And maybe that's just me justifying wanting to do my dirty little jokes. But I don't talk about things to upset people or because I'm like, I love this subject. It's so taboo. I'm going to talk about pedophiles because that's just such a buzzword and everyone's going to be like, wow, what is she doing? It's like, I'm talking about pedophiles because I think as I get older, my friends start telling me they've been molested. And I'm like, whoa, I didn't realize this was a thing that happened to so many people. And I feel like, why
Yes.
aren't we talking about it? And again, like, why can't people just say I was molested? Like, why does that bum everyone out if someone admits that? Like, why do people get to say, oh, my dad spanked me? And we're all like, wow, that's crazy. But if you say my dad tried to fuck me, like everyone's like, don't bring that up. That's really weird. You would bring that up. And it's like, but it wasn't my fault just as much as my dad hitting me wasn't my fault. Why is one thing okay to talk about and the other is like, you just should only talk to a therapist about that? That's really like, that's not cool to talk about. It's like, I want these things to be really almost, I want things to be conversational. In a perfect world, nothing would be off limits to talk about there. And if that was the truth, maybe more victims of things would be able to talk about the things, and then the people that do the things wouldn't get away with them because making a topic shameful or just like, hey, this isn't the place to talk about that. Like, sorry that happened to you, but like, I don't think you shouldn't bring up your molestation at a dinner party. And it's like, well, who benefits from that? Because I think
Honestly,
I think it's pedophiles
yeah,
because they
it's
know that you
true.
will never talk about it.
Well, I'm gonna say a quick thing about that. I'm so glad you're talking about all this stuff. This is why I'm a fan of like your podcast and like your stand-up, is because you talk about the shit that people are thinking. And by you talking about all these subjects, it makes it more mainstream and people feel more comfortable
Yes,
addressing them. And like talking about the molestation thing, people who don't talk about being molestation, it fucks them up for life. And an example,
forever.
like my mother, she was molested when she was younger.
Mm.
But and it affected my childhood because
Yes.
she never spoke about it for fucking decades, and
Oh,
she was hyper protective of me. And then in just other ways, it would come out, and it just
oh God, yeah.
and I almost felt like the parent sometimes. So
It
like
trickles down. Yeah, and it's like
type of shit
if
trickles
she
down, and the
if
person who
she
did
were
it was in the family, and it took
oh my God, they're so often in the fucking family.
it
This is the thing.
really
It's like
and it
if we
took
don't
her
talk about it, how it
forever to cut
happened,
her
who
off.
does it, how it happened, we don't protect our children. We don't learn from the mistakes of our grandparents or whoever didn't protect your mom. Like we need to talk about who did things so that we don't let other people around that person or that type of person. And I look up the statistics. It's 1 in 8 women are as children have sexual assault happen to them, and then 1 in 20 men. And I think the men is probably quite higher and more equal to
I
the
think that men is higher
women's
because
statistic.
like
It's
I,
just more shameful
he told me
because it often is a man doing it, and there's the being feeling like you're homosexual for straight men, and it's hard for them to admit it in that way. So
yeah.
it's like, and we all know like men want to fuck little girls, so it's like it's more acceptable for girls maybe to talk about it. So I really do think it's 1 in 8 men too. It's probably around that too, and that is a fucking huge number of people. And if they all knew that there was that many people, they would feel so much less alone, so much less stigmatized about it, and they could talk about it freely, and it would be
And
it
it would
would be
help
something
that
they could address and work on.
yeah, because I feel like when you don't address it, like it fucks up your like
Oh
relationship
God.
moving forward. Like the thing is with my mother, so it was her older sister's husband, and it
Oh
happened to
my
my mother
God.
when she was younger in her like her early
Oh,
teens. but yet she still kept, I mean, she would never let us around. And I understood later why she would never let us around any adults without her
Mhm.
supervision. But like she didn't cut that sister off until like less than 10 years ago. So
Wow.
because there was always this shame, and extended family made my mother feel guilty about it, and it fucked her up. And sometimes she would lash out about it at towards me in different ways. Like it's just,
Yeah.
I feel like she never fully healed from it. And like this is shit people need to talk about it. And then some other guy, like I dated, I ended up finding out like he was molested, and like he
Yeah.
took it out on me, but I understood why he had so many issues about accepting he was gay. Um,
Yeah.
so like
Like,
it's
did
just
that make him gay? Did he do something to want that? Like, all of
exactly.
that
Yeah,
shit, dude. It's like, and it really, I honestly, what my the part I the, what how I talk about it is that if you survived that, if you happen to have, had it happen to you, which is like, it's as much your fault as being in a car accident, like getting T-boned. Like, you did nothing. It just, if you don't get molested, you're fucking lucky, right? Like, it's just a
yeah,
thing
that's
that
so
happens to
true.
some people. It's just bad luck. It's not because of you, or sometimes it's not even because of your parents. Like, pedophiles are really sneaky, like they'll get whoever they want. It's not because you were just like a more susceptible child, or you weren't fast enough, or cunning enough or something to avoid them. Like, people have so much shame that they had some part to play in it. But if they are able to talk about it, they will. I forgot what my point was going to be, but that is just, it's, if they learned that there were this many, if everyone who's been molested is able to talk about it openly, everyone would go, "Oh my God, you were too?" Like, it's 1 in 8 people. That's a fuck ton of people. Like, that's as many people that have, like, that's more people than have red hair. You know what I'm saying? Like, there
Exactly.
there would be, I think everyone, because they don't want to talk about it, because the media doesn't report on it, and because no one wants to touch it because it's so taboo. No one knows how common it is, and how they're really not that alone. They're far from it. Actually, it's so incredibly common, and that's kind of only the reason why I've been able to talk about it later in life, is because my friends started doing ayahuasca or doing the right kind of therapy, and then all of a sudden they're like, "I'm ready to talk about it," and I'm like, "Wait, all of my friends were molested? How the fuck is this? Like, this is so much, because I wasn't molested. I don't know what it's like. I don't know how. I never researched it, but now I'm realizing it's very common, and I want victims to feel cool about surviving it. I honestly want to empower them and be like, you survived something that is the most fucked up thing ever. Like, my joke is that I think molestation victims should be able to board planes before veterans. Like, you should be able to show a card and get in, like, before group A, because you're a hero if you survive that. Like, because it's honestly the most fucked up thing that I can imagine happening to me is a adult man trying to fuck me as a child. I can't imagine anything that would fuck up me up more. And to survive that, and to go on to raise kids and to have a family, like, you are a hero. And I think that people shouldn't feel, not only should they not feel ashamed about it, they should feel proud of themselves for surviving that. And I think that's how the narrative needs to shift around that. But that's, it's an uphill battle, but it honestly might have to start with comedy. Like, comedy is sometimes the way into addressing these things, like, that than just straight out saying it. You got to make jokes first to get people to conversate about it.
So true, so true. And like this is like good shit. I can't wait to see the show, honestly,
Thank
because
you so much.
I feel like you and I are so in sync in like everything we believe.
Agreed.
And it's like always refreshing to talk to you, because no matter what the fuck the subject is, whether it's anything, like if it's light shit about the fucking plastic surgery, let's just get it and talk about it, to like serious shit like molestation, to relationships. Like I love how like we're so simpatico. It's refreshing. Because I feel
It's
like
I agree. I
this
feel it too.
this is just shit that like it needs to be spoken about so that everyone else could feel more comfortable.
Yeah, it's just the truth. And it's like, if we all could just be a little bit more honest, we'd be so much more happy. We all didn't have to fucking fake it all the time. And I'm so grateful that, I'm grateful for podcasting mediums, and I'm grateful for stand up, because there are places now where people expect you to be a little bit more real, a little bit more honest. Reality TV, like, these are good things for the world, because when it was before reality TV, before podcasting, everything's fucking scripted within an inch of its life. Like, everything was so
Yeah.
fucking fake. Hollywood is just like, everything you see on TV, everything's airbrushed. We didn't even know, like, there is something to even social media, even though there's so much fake going on there, it's nice that there is this movement and place for people like us to be really outspoken about the reality of things, and hopefully let people, like, even for me, like, talking about, I had anorexia when I was young, and I suffered with suicidal thoughts. And those were things that, like, at the time I was like, I'm never going to tell anyone I did this. And like, now I can talk about it so easily with no problem. And anorexia, like, almost took my life. And it's like, but
Wow.
I've only got there because I just talk about it. Like, it's like, oh yeah, like, I got anorexia. Like, I got hit by a car crossing the street. Like, it wasn't my fault. I didn't choose it. It just is a disease I caught, just like catching cancer. Like, I've been able to talk about it and not be so fucking ashamed of it all the time. So I think that's really always my goal on stage, or doing a podcast or anything like that. And I really do believe, like, the gay community, because they have had to already over, or the queer community, LGBTQ, I relate to them so much more because they've had to, I just find that I have these conversations more often with queer people because they have had to overcome a thing that society has made them feel a little bit shameful about. And to be open, they've had to they've had to be brave. They've had to do the thing that might get them people groaning at them or ostracizing them, or like, I relate to that on stage because I've not that I've been through the same struggle as someone who a queer person, but it's like, I just think I relate to gay people more than most straighties, just because I know there's the courage that comes behind being open with your sexuality it reminds me of comedians, like, say, like, oh wow, you're just fucking, you are who you are. And I think that there's like a shorthand there when I'm friends with gay people. I'm just like, oh, this is so much easier. There's no bullshit. I mean, I'm not saying all gay people are like that. There's definitely bullshit within, but I just think there's just, you just get to a place of honesty a lot quicker because you guys have had to like deal with more bullshit and like accept yourselves and like come out. Like, that's a fucking hard road to hoe. And so it's you're generally cooler people because of it.
Thank you for the love, because
It's true. It just is.
not everyone feels that way. Like I
It's
got my
without a doubt.
I've got my so I thought I made a straight. I'm so glad that that made my day, you saying that, because so I thought I made like a straight friend at the gym earlier this year, and we would work out and stuff. And I didn't think like anything towards him that way. He flipped out on me a week ago. I know where he lives. So there's a speakeasy that opened up near him. And I was like, oh, I'm in your hood. Come through for a drink. Like, I was out with friends. And then the next time I saw him, he flipped out at me. And because he thought I was secretly into him, which I was so not, because he's not my type. And it was just like, damn, it's just like, so you've been harboring these fucking feelings this whole time. I'm like, I thought like we were friends. And then he's
Oh
like,
no.
towards the end, trying to damage control it, like, like, I just wanted to make sure that you didn't get the wrong impression. I'm like, dude, I sent you a one-line text inviting you up to join us for a drink. I'm like, no, all good. But I'm like, it makes you wonder. I'm like, damn, do people really feel this way? Like, I just started to get to a point where I felt like I wasn't misunderstood by everyone all the time. And I'm like, damn, I guess I'm not there yet. But so,
Right. Well, that's him misunderstanding himself more than it is him misunderstanding you. Like, he's obviously conflicted about who he is and what his relationships mean and what he wants. And it's not you. I mean, that really is unfortunate though. And it's like, it's gotta be a struggle to have straight male friends as a gay man. I can't, because of just such,
because it's just so weird, because even when some of them aren't like that attractive, do all, now I'm thinking, do all of them think
yeah,
that I want to fucking sleep with
that you
them?
want to fuck them. It's like, it's so crazy, but it's
And I felt like
I deal
flipping
with
out
the
in the
same thing.
moment, but I
What?
did. I felt like flipping out in the moment, say
Yeah.
like, because I have a tongue on me, and
Oh yeah.
but like I just was so cool and calm and collected. But I'm just like, really, I'm like, have you seen some of the people I've dated? I've dated really attractive people. You're nothing special, but it just
Oh,
sucks, you know.
no. I feel the same way when I have guy friends, male friends that have girlfriends, and as soon as they get girlfriends, we have to stop being friends. And I'm just like, I don't want to fuck your ugly fucking boyfriend. Like, he's been my friend forever. Just because we're of the opposite sex doesn't mean, just because I have a vagina and he has a penis and he likes vagina, like, it doesn't have to mean that. But it's just, people are so jealous, so weird, so just overthinking things. That's such a bummer. But it sounds like good riddance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I have to go and jump on a call. But I like fucking love talking to you.
Me too. It's so refreshing. So I can't wait to see your show on Saturday. And I'm doing the meet and greet. So I can't wait to see you
Great.
on stage and grab a photo and shit.
Yay! I'll see you after the show. I'm so excited. Which night are you going?
A Saturday.
Okay, perfect. I will look so forward to it.
I know, me too. I'm so excited. Thanks for joining. This is going to be an even better interview than last year's interview. I feel like whenever I speak to you, it's like therapy. It's like so cathartic.
I felt the same way. I can't wait to meet you, but like, let's just do this annually.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Okay, good.
All right. Well, thanks for
Right.
joining me. I'm looking forward to that. And cheers.
Cheers. All right. See you then.
See you then.
Bye.